Message for all men. It's related to Blue September, but only vaguely. Our figures show that more than 650,000 New Zealand men and women of all ages are experiencing the social challenges which come with bladder leakage. And to support them, there are huge networks of urologists and continence specialists throughout New Zealand. I had no idea that you actually referred to them as continence specialists. As Blue September kicks off, the thing goes on, we think it's important to stimulate positive conversations around the sometimes sensitive subject of bladder leakage, which can occur as a side effect of prostate surgery and can occur for any number of other reasons as well, quite frankly. Men who are reluctant about the prospect of wearing protection seem reassured when they know there are products available designed especially for them. Although, quite frankly, I've peeled this one out of its packet and it looks pretty similar to products designed for women. Anyway, I suppose that doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, this is a particularly important time to be talking about this problem because with the Rugby World Cup, there'll be a lot of people jumping up and down and getting highly excited. And you don't want that sort of thing going on next to you, really, do you? The interesting thing about this, though, is it says recent data estimates the total cost of incontinence to the New Zealand economy is $8 billion a year. And I thought, $8 billion a year? How can that even be vaguely true? Jo Esplin is the independent consultant to New Zealand Continence Association. She put the report together and joins me now. Jo, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Paul.
$8 billion?
Yes.
Where? I'm agog. I'm agog that incontinence can be that expensive.
Well, first of all, we're talking about both urinary and fecal incontinence. And the fact that incontinence can be the leakage you've just talked about, but it also can be urgency or lack of control and other issues that cause the level of embarrassment or an inability to go to work.
But how do you even begin to calculate the dollar value, the annual dollar value to the New Zealand economy of that sort of thing?
What happened was there was an Australian economic report just released in the middle of this year, and it was undertaken by Deloitte's Access Economics, and we got permission from them to take it into the New Zealand context, talk with Statistics New Zealand about our population against Australia population, and then extrapolate the figures out that they use. And because our populations are relatively similar, it was easy to do that. Where the costs come, the biggest cost of incontinence is actually in loss of employment productivity.
Because people constantly going wheeze, going to the toilet and that.
Well, that's right. There's that part of it. That's what they call presenteeism. So you might be actually at work,
yes,
but you're not always at work.
Yeah, no, you're in the toilet.
Yes, that's right. But the other thing is...
Or, what's worse, you're walking back from the toilet after what you thought was quite successful and you piss yourself on the way back to the office.
Well, hopefully not. But also, of course, there's unemployment because people get to the point where they're too embarrassed to actually go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other costs are loss of productivity to your family and friends as well as additional costs like buying pads, transport to take you to and from the hospital and that, as well as additional costs, say, for example, in aged residential care where you need additional staffing to deal with the cleaning and the sorting of soiling, etc., right down to about $53 million of health costs in New Zealand, which includes general practice, pharmaceuticals, ultrasounds, etc.
Is there, and this might seem like a really weird question, is there an upside to all of this? Because it must mean work for people, like carpet cleaning and things like that.
The main thing is that people should really seek assessment and treatment early because lots of it can be reversed or bladders can be trained to be stronger and not leak. So it's really important that people understand that products that you're talking about aren't the only solution.
No, well, this is the ambulance at the it's the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff, if you know what I mean.
Well, yes, that's right.
You are doing a brilliant job at this, you know, Jo. Thank you.
Well, you're most welcome.
Well, no, I've completely gone to the pack. You should be the host and I should be the fool on the other end of the phone. No, well, thank you. Well, so basically you think that $8 billion is about right?
We do think it's about right.
All right.
And it takes into account direct costs and indirect costs. What is really interesting is that the Australian report noted that about 73% of those costs are personal, so to individuals or families.
Are footing the bill?
Yeah, whereas about 20% is to government. So if we extrapolate that down from the $8 billion, that's about $1.6 billion direct government costs, which of course are taxpayer costs anyway.
All right, Jo, I thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot. Jo Esplin, independent consultant to the New Zealand Continence Association. All right, Martin Snedden, with about 24 hours to go before the big beginning of the Rugby World Cup, will join me after the World at 5 here on Paul Henry Drive, Radio Live. Great to have you with us on Thursday, the 8th of September. Good evening.